So, I have a confession to make.
Ooh. What happened?
I don't think I've ever seen this movie before this time.
Oh, you had one of those, you thought you saw it but didn't.
Yeah.
I believe it's like the Mandela effect. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you bawl your eyes out?
Oh, yeah, I did. Well, and this is also like, I mean, I'm kind of like, why didn't I see this? Like, growing up, and I don't know why.
Huh.
We didn't own it on VHS, so that's my final answer.
Well, you know what? I wonder if, I don't know, you were just not into these types of movies, right? Like, you were kind of always into more of the, like, action-adventure and whatever,
Well, what is
right?
this? Is this, like, rom-com? Is that what this is classified as? Or just, like, family?
This is kind of like family drama.
Or is this, like, drama? Yeah.
Coming-of-age drama.
I love those coming-of-ages, but not this drama. I don't know. It was sad. Sad day.
It was a sad day. Well, wait, this is so interesting. So you have, like, a totally new lens on it.
I mean, it's my only lens, so yeah. I have a monocle lens on it.
From your memory. Your memory thought you watched it. You're like, yeah. Which means enough people talked about it to convince you that you thought you saw it, right?
Sure. I don't know.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop. Sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
Hi there.
Welcome back, listeners.
How we doing?
How you doing? Did you guys bring your tissues? Did you bring your cortisone? Probably an EpiPen is more appropriate.
Wait, an EpiPen.
Yeah, I don't think cortisone's gonna fix Thomas J at this point. Oh no.
Where's his glasses? He needs his glasses. I ugly cried this. This was
oh my god.
This was like sniffles and like that kind of crying.
The emotions. All right, well, listeners, I'm going to introduce ourselves so you know who cried. Because it was us. All right, so we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget. I've got sunshine. That doesn't describe how sad this movie is.
It's a weird song to end on. Yeah.
We're gonna pretend everything's fine, because you're my girl.
Funeral was 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
Can I tell you how many people have, like, used that as, like, a dad-daughter dance for their wedding? And I'm like, this is a really sad movie to be like,
my god.
My girl talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's our movie, Brit?
The 1991 classic, My Girl.
My girl. Yeah, I mean, I get the title, but, I mean, there could have been other titles, I think. But there is a girl, I suppose.
There is a girl, and you know how we joke that we have a lot of, like, middle-aged dudes listening?
Yeah.
They're not listening this episode.
No.
You know, I bet they're like, skip it!
No, if you are, no judgment, no judgment.
No judgment. I love that, but this is very much, especially in the 90s, centering on, like, a young girl. Like, that didn't happen a lot. And her co-stars Macaulay Culkin right after Home Alone. Like, that.
This was after Home Alone?
Home Alone was 1990.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a pin in that, because I'm gonna have things to say about Macaulay Culkin's performance in this movie.
Yeah.
Bridget, I need you to do the synopsis.
Oh, okay. Well, considering that you admitted you hadn't seen this, I assume this was a lot to take in.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to read this is on Netflix and was one of my free movies, which is not free because I paid millions of dollars in subscriptions, but it feels free. It felt free. So, it says, this coming-of-age charmer follows a summer in the life of an 11-year-old girl who learned about love and loss as she grapples with profound changes. Wowie, wowie.
Okay, that's an all-encompassing sentence, if I ever heard one. Wow.
Yes. I need to pull up their last name so I don't screw this up, because...
The family's last name?
Yes. The main character is Vada Sultanfuss.
Oh, God.
Remember? And he's like, what a name. And she's like, I like my name.
Oh, my God, I know. She's so cute.
Oh, my God. But basically, if you look anywhere on the internet, she's described as, like, precocious and kind of, like, above her years in terms of how she talks, and she reads War and Peace for fun. But her quirky life is based off of the fact that she lives in a funeral home that is run by her father. And she is a hypochondriac.
Thank you. Thanks for saying it. Nobody says it, but like it's happening. Yes. My God.
And you can add your professional opinion on more to that, but part of where this comes from is not only is she surrounded by death at her home, which is a funeral, but also her mother died giving birth to her, and she has convinced herself it is her. She killed her mother. Like, talk about the drama. And all in one movie, not only do we get things like that, how I just led into the fact of just living in a funeral home and seeing dead bodies as an 11-year-old and your mother dying, but then we go through like all of the trauma possible for this prepubescent teen, which is finding a best friend and then getting made fun of because everyone thinks you're dating, but you're not dating. But then you get your period and you're like, should we kiss? Because I just learned about sex. And then that friend dies and you're like, what the fuck? This is like my first real death in my life.
And then your dad's getting married to the lady who was a cool camper. Conflict.
And then all of a sudden you get a stepmom out of nowhere who thinks buying a goldfish at a carnival is gonna help, or not buying, but just talking about a goldfish at a carnival. And I felt like this whole movie was very quick in terms of these like big moving moments in her life, and she somehow had to navigate them, but she's not a normal 11-year-old. She's like very quirky, unique, and so she does it in this like very dramatic fashion. So I think the other thing that's kind of important is Dan Aykroyd's her dad, and he basically ignores her a lot. I would say he sucks,
He sucks.
And then her new stepmom is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Queen!
Who, oh my God, is
not Colt from Three Ninjas. We made that joke last time. We're gonna make it again. Okay.
But she thinks that she is being hired for a makeup artist job at a beauty salon and not a funeral salon, and somehow thinks that, well, I'm just gonna take this job anyways. I live in an RV. And everyone's confused. And then she starts dating Dan Aykroyd, and we're still confused. And then she marries him in like 2 months. And you're like, what? But Vada, who is the little girl, is like, I don't understand why all these things are happening. I'm like, Vada, I don't know either. Do you have a journal? Like, we have to write this down. There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
But I feel like the thing I didn't realize about this movie is it's set in the 70s. So even though it came out in 1991, you kind of have this like, she goes to a creative writing class and there's a lot of hippies and like,
oh my God.
And like getting out of your head, getting out of like your logic and getting into your feelings and your soul. Mm-hmm. And because of all these moments, she's trying to like grasp with like the emotional side of all of this. So that was really interesting too. Mm-hmm. She also had a love for her teacher who then got a girlfriend and broke her heart, and she's 11, so that's just weird.
It was a weird subplot. Yep. Hated it.
But I think I hit most of the big themes. That's what I got. What do we think?
I thought that was great.
Well,
you know, you mentioned the kid dies, so we're good. We're all good.
That's pretty much what everyone remembers this movie for.
That's the big part in there. So I don't know what I was expecting because I, again, thought I've seen parts of this movie and I definitely haven't. And I knew that there was the kid that, you know, dies and that was like the big whatever. I knew they were friends, but I didn't realize like all the family drama and like you said, there's so many things happening to this little kid. I'm like, this little girl needs a counselor. Where a mental health professionals to help the child because damn, like literally the first scene, I was like, oh my God, this girl would be my friend at school because she having a tough time right away. Isn't the first scene she's like in a doctor's office like, I'm dying, and he's like, no.
So, okay, before actually I forget, this is a fan pick, listener pick.
Oh, yes! Oh, sorry. Yes,
the
it
one
is.
and only Julie.
This is Julie. This is a very Julie movie.
Oh my God. But I like that she picked this movie because I don't know if I'd ever watch this movie again in my life. Like, it wouldn't randomly come on. But the scene you're talking about is, it zooms in on her sitting at a kitchen table and she said, I have jaundice.
No, that's what it is. Right. And then she's like, I have a chicken bone in my throat. Also, like, something. And then it was like, hey, Dad, I'm dying. And he was like, I don't care. And I was like, well, that's okay. Got it. Got the gist. Got the gist of the movie. Got it.
She talked about how, Dad, my left breast is growing at a larger rate than my right breast. And I'm pretty convinced I'm dying of cancer. And he was like, where's the mayonnaise?
Yeah, he was like, I couldn't give two. Please stop talking to me.
He's like,
I hate
this
you.
Isn't Ghostbusters. Let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay, well, the other thing we have to talk about is, do you watch the show Veep?
No, you brought this up last time. This girl's in it, right?
Anna, it's pronounced like Chlumsky.
Okay.
But this was her first breakout role, and I thought she was great.
Oh, yeah, she was so good.
Even today, she's still, like, really good. But Dan Aykroyd, I'll be honest, I was like, this is a weird choice. I'm sorry.
Weird choice, and I was like... So your only character thing is, like, you hate your kid, which is weird, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
You think Jamie Lee Curtis is hot, but then you're like, I'm awkward, Dad. And then you kind of, like, don't care about your kid again because you're like, I'm gonna marry this lady today. And, like, who cares about feelings? And I was like, are you okay? Because you're the problem. You're part of the problem with your problematic daughter. We got some problems up in here. Okay.
We got 99 problems.
99 problems, but Ghostbusters ain't one. All right. Yeah, serious Dan Aykroyd is weird.
And he had a very, very drastic side part that I think, like, added to his schlubbiness, and I just was like, what's happening? It was just like a tidal wave. Yeah, weird. Weird. But I think thing right away is you're like, okay, it's a little girl in a funeral home, and she has hypochondria, and just always thinks she's dying. And to be honest, if I grew up around dead bodies, like, is that what would normally happen to a kid?
See, I feel like the way I interpreted the hypochondria thing is, I think, yeah, like, I guess there's some, like, connection with the funeral home, but I took it more as, like, okay, this girl, like, doesn't understand her feelings because her dad, like, hates her and ignores her, so, like, she feels sad, so she's like, I'm dying, my heart hurts, or it's like, you know, it's like she's not interpreting the physical symptoms, like, correctly. Like, that's how I took it.
Hence the creative writing class to have her, like, connect the dots.
That's what I mean, like, in that, where he's like, you're not talking about your feelings, and she was like, I don't get it, because, like, I don't think she ever stops to, like, actually feel things and, like, understand them. That's how I took it.
Yeah. No, that's, I like that. Well, Kate, we end up in Madison, Pennsylvania in 1972, just as Nixon gets elected.
Oh, and don't worry, because at the very last line of the movie, she's like, and thank God that Richard Nixon got reelected. And I was like, that's not gonna age well. I think it's for sarcasm for the audience, but I hate it, so no. Yeah, that was funny.
But very suburbia, right? So the thing that I thought was really cute is her and Macaulay Culkin, whose character name is Thomas J, which I kind of dug. Like, Thomas J. I was like, oh, that's fun.
That's fun. You got a little letter in there.
In there. Thomas J. What? Who knows? Maybe it's just a letter.
We don't care.
But they're just always on bikes, and she's got little fringes on her bike handles, and they're going to the Weeping Willow by some lake, and I don't know, it just seemed very, Anytown, USA, you know? Like, if you grew up in suburbia, you can, like, relate to this. And I always thought that was cute.
Yeah. In the beginning of the movie, because again, I have not seen this movie. Take a sip every time I say that during this review. So I, again, knew they were friends, and in the beginning of the movie, she does the whole thing where she's like, pay me money and I'll show you a dead body.
Oh,
and like
hustled.
whatever. Yo, she is a hustler, so we love it. We love it. But Thomas J is like in that little group, and then he's like, I don't want to do it. I'm gonna leave. And then she was like, suit yourself. And I was like, oh, are they not like friends yet? And then they're gonna develop this cute little friendship. But then no, they're like best friends. And he was just like, I'm on to you. I know the drill.
Okay, he had the best boundaries. And she just made fun of him all the time. She's like, you're like a dog. You always have to go home to eat. And I'm like, no, he actually is like properly feeding himself, like when he's hungry, or he doesn't want to be scared by a dead body, or it's dark.
Curfew.
Yeah, it's dark, and he wants to get home. And I'm like, oh, Thomas J, like you are just a little angel.
Oh, Bridge, too soon.
I know. Okay, so the hustling of the coffin and the kids being like, there's nothing in there, there's no dead body, and then she goes on to lie that, well, sometimes the bodies get up and move, and she uses her grandma with dementia to hustle some kids out of some money?
Here's another part that Katie was like, haven't seen the movie, so I'm trying to understand what's gonna happen. I thought then Grandma was gonna be like, hell yeah, we got $5. But no, Grandma's like catatonic and it's awkward, and Vada's like using her dementia to like make an extra couple bucks.
That's the part of the synopsis I missed.
Yeah, that's another horrible thing happening in her life.
She's living with her grandmother, who they used to be very close.
Yes.
Who has fallen into Alzheimer's, dementia, and is catatonic, except when she just sings randomly.
Oh my God.
And Vada is always like hugging and hanging on her and talking to her, and it's like the saddest thing in the world. She's like a living corpse as her,
because
like,
it's
grandma.
another person in her life who gets to ignore her, so just add it to the freaking list of people who don't talk to her. Yeah.
The drama.
Oh my God. It was a lot happening. So, yep. So that's Grandma.
And then we jump forward to seeing Dan Aykroyd talk about how he's embalming his old high school teacher.
Yeah.
And she learns that he died of prostate cancer, so then tells everyone she's a prostate
cancer. That was funny.
I thought that was good.
There were a lot of parts of this movie I feel like, okay, the writer like definitely is writing correctly for this age.
Yeah,
because I could
writing.
I could see a lot of kids that age like saying something stupid like that.
She did have a little like intellectual, like some of her vocabulary she used. Like when she got her period, she was like, I'm hemorrhaging. I'm like, I don't speak like that.
No.
Like, it would be like, Mom, I'm dying! But, oh my God. Also, okay, wait, then we quickly meet Jamie Lee Curtis as she rolls up in her RV, and I go,
amazing.
Jamie Lee Curtis rolls up in her camper like every millennial I know now.
Oh, snap.
It is 1972. Is
that a jab at Dave Coleman?
Oh, Dave Coleman, you're called out.
Oh,
him.
snap.
I've had other two friends do it. I mean,
my
everyone
God.
I know is getting a camper. It's 1972.
Everyone you know is Jamie Lee Curtis wearing cool bell bottoms and thigh-high boots. Side pony, all blue eyeshadow galore. Oh,
Kate,
man.
You can never have too much blue eyeshadow.
Yeah, my face to that scene, I was like, disagree.
But you can. That's kind of like the trend when like blue eyeliner was in, and like everyone would like cake it around their eyes, and you're like, you can have too much of that.
Always. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Jamie's funny though.
I liked her more as an adult, and you don't have this experience because you watched it just now, but
I was like, what do you mean? Like Jamie as an adult? You mean like I'm the adult?
No. The character, Shelly, right? Who, when I was a kid and watched this movie, I didn't like Shelly. I was like Vada. I related to Vada. Like, she's my stepmom. I'm annoyed by her. She's coming in and stealing my dad. Now that I watch it, I'm like, Shelly's the only one that gave a shit about Vada.
She's literally the only person who cares about Vada. Yeah. She's like, hey, Vada, you want to chat? I'm here for you, lady. Anything you need, anytime, anywhere. And Vada's like, get out of my face, God!
Yeah, and she like tells her about sex, which like, let me tell you, I mean I got some mom stories with that, and and I'm pretty sure Mom, after she told me was so horrified that she never told any of you, and I think I had to tell you or
Yeah,
something.
I didn't get that from Mom, so not that type of information.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
But
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd gives her the grody up and down look like, you're
Ew.
a hot lady. I'm like, ew.
Oh my god. And like, he
Stop
didn't
it.
like, I don't know. I get like he was trying to play like a straight character who's like, you know, super serious and whatever, but like, I just feel like he didn't have much of a personality. And it was weird. And then I'm like, so now you're checking her out? But like, are you a gross dude? Or like, I don't know how to take this because I don't know who you are. All I know is you hate your kid, but like, then you don't sometimes. But like, you mostly do. Mostly.
The other thing that, like, he always made comments of, like, are you gonna wear that? Are you, like, is that your makeup? And she's like, yes. And he's like, oh. I'm like, excuse me, are you the expert on this, Mr. I have a tidal wave side part? Get out of here.
Yeah, this is not, like, the fashion police, okay? Like, give it a rest.
Me. And the other thing that I'm like, okay, this goes to show you, like, how I am, in my head, more of a working person than anything else, because when he hires her, she's like, you know what? I got a confused beauty parlor funeral. Hey, whatever. I want to do it. And he's like, okay, you got the job. And she's like, great. And in my head, I was like, well, what is he paying you?
Yeah. What's the salary? What are the hours? What are the benefits?
And by the way, one of the negotiations could be, can I leave my camper in front of your house for the rest of the hemorrhaging life and marry you?
I was wondering that. I'm like, where is she camping out at? Because she drives away and comes back awful lot. And I'm like, you should just stay. Why don't you just, okay.
Wait, I was convinced she stayed there.
No, she would drive away and then come back.
Where
it was
does
weird.
she go?
I don't know, Bridget. We'll never know.
Where is she going?
We'll never know. Maybe that's why she wanted to marry Dan. She's like, I just need a stationary place to live.
She's like, I can't keep dumping my poo out. I need this.
Yeah, there was a lot of like RV toilet talk, and I was like, I'm good.
Oh my god.
I just kept writing Dan Aykroyd is a hemorrhaging.
Yes.
It's like all throughout my note. Like he was rude to Shelly, he's rude to Vada. He just, I don't even know. He's like really weird, annoying. And then we find out Shelly's divorced, which I'm actually surprised the movie didn't make a bigger deal out of it. They just kind of were like, anyway, that's cool. And then you even meet her like ex-husband at one point, and they're still like, anyway, like he's a weirdo. Moving on.
But they had a lot of like Shelly and Harry is Dan Aykroyd's name, right?
Yeah, which is very apropos for his wig or situation going on.
But I was kind of sick of their I'm like, we just want to watch like Vada and Macaulay Culkin climb some trees and say dumb little kid stuff and be like fancy free. Like this is annoying. It was annoying.
I know. Yeah, I didn't need all the like intricacies of like their dates and like how they are like liking each other or flirting. No, didn't need it. They could have cut a lot of that out.
And also, you could spend more time on like, wait, you're gonna get married after like 2 months of knowing each other?
Yeah,
because we have a timeline of Summer because of her love affair with her teacher, and he's painting his house, and she's like, I'm reading War and Peace for fun, and he's like, Summer just started, and then literally you fast forward to a carnival, which is still summer because school hasn't started, and they're like, well, your father and I are getting married. I was like, hot damn, that's like 2 months.
Yo, I'm telling you, Shelly's trying to lock it down, okay? She's got some divorce, like, filings going on still. God. Who knows? She's just trying to
She's got to pay for that blue eyeshadow. I mean, shoot.
Yes. I want to talk about the teacher. First of all, did you recognize that actor from any other movie? Because when I saw him, I was like, oh my god, this is a weird role from the other movie I know you from.
I don't.
Okay, it's a scary movie. So he's in An American Werewolf in London, and he's the guy who gets murdered. Spoiler alert. And then he's like a ghost zombie in the rest of the movie, and like it was really weird to see him as like a, hey there, I'm a teacher and I'm a supportive adult. And I was like, wait, are you also dead though? Let me know.
There's a lot of death happening. Are you gonna die too?
Everyone around you is dying, so is it also you? Yeah. But that, like, threw me off, because I just didn't expect to see that particular actor.
I mean, he was pretty good at his role. I mean, you were so, like, please don't be creepy, please don't be creepy, please don't be creepy.
Yes,
and
exactly.
he wasn't. Like,
No.
I think he could have been a little more direct with her.
And a little nicer when she read her cool ice cream poem, and he's like, Vada, like, show me your feelings. And I was like, can you just give a compliment about how fun that was and how we all like ice cream? And then can we get ice cream? Thanks.
The one hippie guy in the class, he's like, yeah, man, ice cream in a cone or dish. Yeah, who doesn't love it? It's called desire. It's about desire.
I would like to imagine that guy is like the grown-up version of Slater from Days of Confused, and he just somehow ended up in a creative writing class like, hey man, I don't even know how I made it here, man, but wow, ice cream, man, cool, 11-year-old girl. Yo, all those people in that class were like kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Super weird.
A spectrum of weird, if you will.
Mr. Bixler, right, the teacher, is...
Oh.
I felt like he tried his best to be like a supportive adult father figure, but at the same time, he wasn't, I don't know. It was weird when she had her traumatic moment with him when his like fiance comes out and she's like, I can't believe you have a fiance. I'm like, you're 11. Even Thomas J, when she was like, I'm going to marry Mr. Bixler, Thomas J's like, that's illegal. I was like, again!
Yeah, and I was like, correct, Thomas J. You are correct. You're the only one correct so far in this movie. So way to be. You and Shelly. All right. Yeah.
But
oh my God.
That's funny though that you thought of him as more of like a horror person because this is so different.
Well, and again, it's like when he was like not like supportive of the ice cream poem, I got a little defensive because I'm like, are you a werewolf? Where are we going with this? But nope, it was fine. And I'm pretty sure after that, there's like a lot of just little scenes with her and Thomas J. And then this is the part after here where she doesn't like say it to anyone. It's kind of like a voiceover, but it's like the teacher is like, oh, like you need to talk about how you feel, like something that's real or like raw for you. And then it's like a voiceover of her being like, I'm afraid I killed my mother. And you're like, damn, it just got real. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But then it goes to Dan Aykroyd playing the tuba in Grandma's ear.
Okay, why was he so close to her playing the tuba?
Yeah, like she has dementia. We don't need to give her hearing loss. Okay, I don't really understand. That's a weird way to try to fight that.
I was like, what music therapy requires 2 inches away from someone?
Yeah, it's like such a loud entry, and Grandma's just sitting there like she's probably thinking to herself like, this mother hemorrhaging in my ear.
Oh my
Swear
God.
to God, bring it out of here real fast. Yeah, not good.
One of the little parts I want to mention in between all those is her, because this happens a lot, is her running to the doctor's office.
Yeah, she does that a lot.
Can we talk about how, like, no one could get a freaking appointment with any doctor, and in this old town, he's so goddamn bored, he's like, come on in, Vada. Like, what insurance does she have? My God.
No, she just rolls up, and everyone's on a first-name basis. Hey, Vada.
Hey,
Hop
Vada.
on in there. Hey, Vada. It's good to see you again. See you tomorrow, Vada. Oh, my God. Like, you know, it's another one of those things where I'm like, I get it for the writing. Like, she's a hypochondriac, and she goes to the doctor, and they all kind of humor her. But, like, also, like, adults, maybe, like, I don't know, turn her away? You know, like, you're kind of, like, humoring her a little bit. Because, like, they would take it seriously sometimes. They'd be like, sit on up here, let's do it.
Well,
and you're like, why?
I was like, wait, why can't they, like, call Dan Aykroyd and be like, so, first of all, we know you don't care about her, but she literally gallivants all over this town. She's in a doctor's avoid. Like, I would be surprised if she was, like, literally getting a mortgage out at a bank. Like, that was kind of her vibe. And, like, literally, why wouldn't they call home and be like, you know, your daughter who's so young, 11, just keeps rolling up to our office. Can we help with this? Can this, Oh my God. But listen, she also kind of acted out a little bit and was like a little mean to Thomas J. She kind of was a little feisty with him. Yeah. Little punching bag.
You know, and then you find out that she's about to have her period. Don't be alarmed, middle-aged men. Yeah. Period. Blood. So that was kind of funny knowing that was like on the horizon because you're like, oh girl, you're going through the emotions. We've been there.
Oh me, oh my.
All been there. This is where there's a scene that Vada and Thomas J are at their little willow tree spot, which is like a really cool spot. I don't understand why no one else is ever there, but fine. It's fine. It's cute. And she's like fishing and he's like hanging from a tree and like, oh my God. He goes, this is like where I started to get emotional. He was like, I want to be an acrobat when I grow up. And I was like, oh no, you're never going to do that, Thomas J. But like, you know, dream big. And then they catch a fish and then somehow that leads to, we're bleeding. And then somehow that leads to sharing blood. Don't do that, people. Please. No, bad.
So I'm pretty sure I read somewhere in Europe there was like an HIV warning on this movie. 'Cause it was
my God!
It was like, do not do this. This can't be a little kid friends with like HIV.
Not good. No.
You know, we just like got past the 80s, early 90s.
Ugh.
Yeah, but you know what, Kate? Like, do you remember the movie The Craft when they like, they put their fingers in the blood? I mean, I'm saying it was like a young kid thing, this whole Blood Brothers thing.
Okay, but Vada and Thomas J are not doing like witchcraft, I don't think. I think they're just like, I don't know what, like Vada is just like, let's do it! And Thomas J's like, I'm afraid, but sure, I'll do it. And I don't know what was going on. Oh, and then there was like a dead fish and Vada's like, no, don't kill it. And he's like, I didn't. But like, it was dead. But like, he didn't want to tell her because she can't handle death because she has no grasp on her emotions because she needs a therapist. Thomas J. He's a good friend, man.
He's got to write that script, you know?
He's got,
He's going to be like 1 to 2 hours of therapy a week.
Oh,
no,
boy.
that was really cute. When she's like, did it survive the fish? And he looks down and it's like totally dead. And he goes, yeah. I was like, oh, what a little sweet.
Oh, he was so sweet.
He was, but she, you know, when the other kids made fun of them for like, are you boyfriend and girlfriend? She was like, ew, I would never go for him. And she was like, mean. Yeah. And then she slowly makes up for it when Shelly's like, oh, don't listen to them and whatever. And she's like, I'd never hang out with them. I only hang out with people that intellectually stimulate me. And then Thomas J smiles. And you're like,
he's like, yeah, it's me.
Like, she's a lot. She like rips you apart, makes you give her blood. Then she's saying you're intellectually stimulating. Yeah. There's a lot. And to your point, we could chalk it up to some period. Period moves.
Some of that's going on. I love that scene where it's like those group of girls, which are like stereotypical, like mean girls, and they're like, wow, we're gonna go to the movies because Blue Bloods' dad, like, owns it, and we get, like, popcorn. Bye! And then they wander off, and there's, like, that one girl who's, like, awkwardly, like, staring at them, and I'm pretty sure that girl was in a Goosebumps episode, so people don't forget.
Wow. I think her name was Judy, and they became friends at the end.
Yeah, well, Judy, you're second best to Thomas J. Sorry about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in the midst of all this chaos, this is when Vada decides, I need to get $35 for this creative writing class. And her dad, to no shock to anyone, ignores her. And then she totally steals from Shelly's camper van some money.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah. We are committing felonies. We're just walking into adult classes and adults are allowing it. And then adults are weird. And then I don't know. A lot. And again, Dan Aykroyd's like, anyway, did I have a daughter? I don't care. Grandma, let's play the tuba together. La, da, 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 da. He's like, Shelly, let's go on a date. Oh, thank God. Their first date is bingo at the church.
Oh, everybody was so old.
At least go to a VFW where there's beer, okay? Like, I'm just saying. There's better bingo places.
That was where I kind of hated the writing because Jamie Lee Curtis is looking around and you could tell she's realizing it's all old people, like really old people. And she goes, you know, I don't know if it's just working at the funeral home, but like, we're going to see some of these people soon. Like, she's making the connection connection. Like, they're gonna die soon. This is how old everybody is. And so you're like, yeah, aren't you mad that you got taken on a date to this, like, old farty place to
Shelly.
And instead, she goes on this whole rant about you can be in a room with 100 men and not want any of them, or you could be in a room with one man and he's the only one you want, and then they kiss. And I'm like, that's not how that goes down. Okay.
Well, actually, Vada, like, cock blocks, but
she does.
They try to go in for the kiss, and I hated it all.
Oh, I was like, first of all, Dan, Jamie Lee Curtis is not going for you. I'm sorry.
No.
Like, this is, again, hey, we learned this in Billy Madison, right? With Veronica Vaughn. We learned this in any 90s movies, like Ben Stiller, Cameron Diaz. Like, it's not happening.
No, sure not.
So annoying.
Yeah.
The only time Dan Aykroyd rocks is when he threatens to, like, beat up the divorce guy for taking the camper van. And he shows some sort of, like, I can stick up for you, I got your back, whatever. And you're like, okay, that's kind of, like, interesting, and I like that part of you. The rest, he's just like a tuba playing sad man that's cutting up bodies. Like, ugh.
He's just like a tube of, like, plain mayonnaise that is a little old, and, like, I forgot it was in the fridge. So
I feel like everything he wore to was brown. You're like, this is so boring. You don't even have, like, a red shirt on or something.
Right, like, get some blue eyeshadow on at least. Come on.
That was what was so funny about her, is she was just like, look at, what do you think of this corpse I spruced up? And he's like, Jesus, she looks like a $2 hooker. And she's like, oh, what? But her lips. Oh my God. I laughed so hard.
I love that. That was so funny.
But yeah, when she starts the writing class, I have very weird notes from, like, the lead up, but the character Rhonda in the writing class, who was like the hippie, who, like, was like the hot young woman, who she started talking about her relationship in a poem. And I was like, Rhonda is literally touching herself while sharing a poem in class. And we have an 11-year-old here.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Okay, well, first of all, now I'm a little, okay, I'm trying not to be lost because I'm
sorry.
It's hard to follow the movie. Bridget only saw it once, and we were at bingo, and now we're back at the writing class, so I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on.
No, keep going to bingo. I'm sorry.
Well, with that part, I thought that I was like, is this lady trying to hit on the teacher via poem? And I wasn't sure. And then I wasn't sure if she was girlfriend, boyfriend with the other hippie guy, because everyone in that class was so weird, and I didn't get it. Also, at the end of the movie, when Vada comes back in, everyone's like, oh my God, Vada, thank God you're here! And they all, like, hug her, and I was like, bad touch. No.
I hated it.
Give a nice little wave, you know? Like, keep your hands to yourself, please. Jeez.
I hated it.
Yeah. Okay, so
the only thing we didn't mention about the date is Dan Aykroyd's brother, who, the uncle who's always kind of around, goes on the most sexist, male chauvinistic speech on, this, like, women's lib thing. It's like a thing. And so, like, they don't really want you, like, holding doors for them because, like, women are equal. And do you remember the scene when they come back from bingo and she's sitting in her car and he doesn't open the door and she's sitting there?
Awkward turtle!
So awkward. I was like,
oh my God.
Awkward. Like, no. But I was like, we don't need this. This is where I was, like, sick of their dating thing. I'm like, ugh, this is stupid.
We didn't need it. Because then, like, immediately he's like, oh, I thought that was, like, what you wanted. And she was like, nope. And then he's like, never mind, I'll never do that again. You're like, okay, so I don't know why we did all this, but it's fine. They do go in her camper, and she's like, welcome to my camper. Hello. Let's have a dance in my camper. We have 2 feet of floor space. Let's do a little twirl. Let's make out. And then I wrote a note that says, no camper boning tonight, because Dan's like, I gotta go home.
Oh,
goodbye.
My God. I was thinking the same thing. She's like, do you want to come in my camper just for a bit? And I was like, oh, what are they gonna bone on the street? Oh.
Meanwhile, Vada's like creeping through the window, and I'm like, no, Vada, don't look. I don't think you've gotten your period yet, so please don't look.
She's like slashing the tires. She's like, feel this hemorrhaging.
Honestly, I'm surprised she didn't. I thought she was gonna, like, sneak out and it was gonna be inappropriate, but it was not. Thank God.
Oh my God. But that kind kind of like, there isn't like, are they dating, are they not? Then they're just a couple. And you're like, oh, okay, whatever.
Right.
The story of the feelings come up because back in creative writing class,
right,
the freaking dude, as you quote from Dazed and Confused, is like, let's hold hands and meditate. And I'm like, okay, this is like a little too 2021 for me. Because I feel like everywhere I go, everyone's like, let's meditate.
Let's do a meditation and feel what we're feeling.
Oh my God, I have like a corporate lady where we get emails and they're like, meditation from 2 to 2:30 today. And I'm like, my meditation would be a day off. That's what this would be.
Right. Self-care equals more money, okay? Jeez.
Yes, so, but it was all about like, do you feel their vibe? It was like drink every time they said vibe. And then she goes, I felt Justin's hangnail. And they're like, no man, I need you to go deeper. And then she goes on this whole story of like, well, my cousin had a hangnail that got infected. It got infected in her toe, and then she lost her voice, and she couldn't sing her beautiful angel voice. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, that escalated quickly.
Woo! But it all led to a very sweet scene where she goes home at night and she like tries to hold her grandma's hand.
I know, I really liked that.
That was like the fish scene. Oh, my heart.
I felt so bad because you're like, Vada, you just like want someone to care about you, and nobody but Thomas J and Shelly care about you.
Pretty much.
So, all right, now Shelly and Harry are dating. Now it's like 4th of July because there's fireworks and like we're having a cookout, and what a great day. And this is where Shelly's ex-husband comes around and I go, okay, there's these two weird hippies creeping around. And then I go, oh my God, what is this? An Italian mobster dressed as a hippie? And then I realized it was her ex-husband. Cause I was like, are these guys about to do a hit on someone?
Oh my God.
Cause I still got Sopranos on the brain, y'all. But nope,
really
it was just the ex-husband with an afro, and he was lame.
And white.
And white.
Very white. Which also made me laugh because one scene, Jamie Lee Curtis is like, I'm making my famous potato salad. And I was like, whitest ever.
Oh my God, I know.
Don't do it. Don't make it.
Yeah. She made it all right.
Oh my God. He was weird. He basically came in and was like, the camper's half mine. And it's like, okay, so what are you going to do? You going to split it down the middle? Like, what are we looking for? Like, what?
Like, this is what divorce lawyers are for, people. Okay? You don't need to take the law into your own hands and, like, stalk your ex-wife.
Yeah. Send an email.
I didn't get it at all. None of it made sense to me. But this is where Dan Aykroyd has his only cool scene where he very casually walks up and, like, puts his arm around the guy. He's like, hey, buddy, maybe you'll just, like, have to have memories with the camper. And the guy's like, what? And then Dan Aykroyd, like, punches him in the gut. And, like, it was a weird punch, but, like, at least we got a punch. So
we got a punch.
So that was cool. And then I remember, did the guy leave? I don't know. I guess he left.
Well, then he was, like, all hurt, and he goes, if you ever come back here again, I'll bury you in the front lawn. And they were like,
damn! Oh, and yeah. The brother goes, your father's a savage. Amazing.
And Vada's eyes were like, whoa.
She's like, my dad can have emotions? What? I'm not familiar.
Oh
Weird.
My God. And then we have some more like Thomas J and Vada on the bike again, and they find the beehive, but it's the first beehive that...
I got nervous and sweaty. I was like, am I going to cry now? Am I going to cry later?
When am I going to cry? It was too early in the movie.
Too early to cry. Yep.
Yes. And then the nurse's office tells Thomas J how he's great for Vada because no adult wants to deal with her, and he's like, listen, it's fine. And then he sees a beehive, and then he's like, this is my chance to get out. Okay.
He's like, I can finally leave.
But that scene of them running together away from the bees into the lake. That's a very iconic scene.
So cute. And then, but then it like cuts away really quick, and they're like, anyway, now we're gonna scar Vada more because we're gonna go to a carnival and get her dad and Shelly engaged. Go team. And I go, is this a shotgun wedding? What the hemorrhaging? Why is this happening like this?
I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, what? First of all, when did he propose?
Yep.
She just casually has a ring on her her finger. They didn't think to tell the kid? Like, what?
Nope.
What?
I don't even know.
I don't even know. This is some BS. I'm saying that right now. But I loved the bumper car scene.
Bumper car?
When she just started to ram Jamie Lee Curtis everywhere. And Jamie Lee Curtis acted that so well. Because at first she was like, oh yeah, Vada, isn't this fun? And then she like started turning back and looking scareder and more scared at like an 11-year-old that's like slamming her into the wall.
Oh my God.
And then by the end she was just like upset, and I thought it was like played perfectly.
I thought that was funny because anyone who's been in a bumper car, like, y'all not getting bumped that hard.
No.
So it's kind of funny because like I think to a little kid you're like, like the rage, and you think like you're really like slamming into someone, and as an adult you're like, ooh, anyway, it's literally a bumper car. That's why we do this. So
yep,
I like that.
Yep. And then she runs away, right? She goes in this like, Thomas J, I'm running away. And then again, because he's the best, he's like, I'm tired of running away. And also, you don't really know where you're going because we've passed by the same spot 3 times. I'm like, oh my God, he is hysterical. His character is so funny.
And her dad, again, did not give two because I don't know how late she stayed out, but like she wasn't home. And then we come to see that she was just sitting in like a tree on their lawn. So that was
bizarre.
Confusing. And then she goes inside expecting like her dad to be like, oh my God, Vada, you poor thing. And he's like asleep. And I was like, Vada, what do we expect at this point? You know, like I know you're only 11, but girl, you gotta start learning when people suck, you know?
People
like,
suck. You gotta lower the bar. Lower the bar. But then she gets her period.
I'm hemorrhaging! I'm gonna say that next time I have
my God. Well, but I also was like, whoa, movie. We got a lot going on, and I know that there's a big old sad moment that's about to come, and it was just a lot, right? Like I don't know. I didn't remember this many like tragedies all at once, and ay.
I love where, so Shelly obviously is like there, and Shelly's like, Vada, let's go have a talk. And then you don't see any of that, which I actually would have liked to, not that I need to hear the talk again. Well, don't worry, everyone.
I kind of talk about it.
No, guys, I know what's going on, okay? Don't worry. But, like, it would have been nice to see them because at this point, Vada, like, hates Shelly.
Yes.
So then off camera, they're having this, like, beautiful little moment together that we just don't see. So fine. But then Thomas J, like, comes to the house and he's like, hey, Vada, want to go ride bikes? And Vada throws him to the ground and she screams in his face and she says, no, and don't come back for 5 to 7 days.
That is
amazing.
A fantastic line.
Amazing.
I need to look up who these writers are because that was such a great line.
I was like, well, now I know what I'm gonna say. Can I do that as well to any boy that comes to my house during that week? Because I might do it. And then I'll be like, don't be offended. It's from my girl, okay?
You're like, I'm quoting a movie. Check out my episode.
Like, click like, subscribe. Jeez. God.
Yes. And then that in itself, which I also commend the movie because they didn't make it like her whole personality then. Unlike 16 Candles, then it's not her whole personality like the sister from 16 Candles.
Oh my God,
they like quickly move on.
Right.
And she gets in trouble because she wasn't watching her grandma that basically
Grandma's on the run.
She runs into middle of a funeral, takes a rose and starts belting her heart out.
I mean, put grandma up at karaoke because that lady, she had some pipes. It was the wrong place, wrong time.
It was it wasn't the right moment. But Dan Aykroyd like loses it on Vada and is like, oh, you're supposed to be watching her. And I'm like, again, you are the worst dad ever.
Meanwhile, he's making out in the other room with Shelly via funeral, and don't be yelling at Vada because she's 11. And why is she a babysitter? Let me know.
Then at this point, Vada's all confused. And I gotta say, any girl that has, or woman, whatever, that has a strong personality, you gotta remember your first kiss, right? And understanding that, like, she got the periods and sex talk. She's finding out her parents are getting married. And all these things are swirling in her head. And she's like, Thomas J, why do people get married? And he has the best line ever where he goes, I don't know, they just get old and they're forced to. And in my head, I was like, yeah, because you can't pay for life. That's probably what, like, it is now. And then she's like, should we kiss? And that's, like, adorable because it's so innocent. But, like, that's a moment, right? When you're, like, young. I feel like that was a thing. It was like, let's kiss. And, like, they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And it was just such a, like, coming of age moment, right? Like, someone has had that experience.
Well, and the best is she's like, close your eyes, don't look at me! And he's like, oh god, okay. And, like, little Thomas J just wants to follow the rules. And then after they do their quick kiss, they, like, pull away, and then Vada's like, well, say something!
Oh,
and Thomas J, this is like a Christmas Vacation style. He's like, stands up, and he starts doing the mofo Pledge of Allegiance.
My god, it was perfect.
Amazing.
And she followed.
Amazing.
She got up and they put their hand on their hearts.
They were like, do we do this? We don't know. Where are we?
Allegiance.
Oh my god. Amazing. It was so cute.
It was so cute. And then this is when he says the really cute line where he goes, Vada, will you think of me?
Yeah.
And she goes, what? And he's like, if you don't marry Mr. Bixler. And I was like, Thomas J.
Well, he's like, I mean, we're gonna get old and we're gonna need to, you know, shack up
You're
or
just gonna
something.
have to do it.
Except you won't, Thomas J, because then you go to look for her mood ring and so sad.
Okay, some behind the scenes stuff I read about.
Okay, if Thomas J actually got stung by a bee, I'm gonna leave because I'm upset by it. Oh my god. Oh, I mean, Macaulay Culkin.
Real bees. So.
Oh my god, they didn't look real.
No,
sometimes.
they were totally real, and they
even when they were attacking him.
Yeah, when they were like around him, and then they had like a professional beekeeper, and he had pollen like on his hands.
Oh no!
And so they were like surrounding him, and then after I read like each scene when he was done, he would just like run. I don't know if it was a lake or run into some sort of water or get like sprayed down right away.
Oh my god!
But I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning. He got paid some big bucks for this movie.
Really?
I believe he got paid $1 million for this movie.
Oh my god.
In comparison, Vada, the star of it, got paid like $50K.
Of course she did.
But this was right after Home Alone when he got big and was like really huge. And
oh my god.
So like, great, we're bringing in real bees and here we go.
You get the real bees, you get the death scene. That's like really surprising to hear because I actually thought this was like his first movie. No. One, because he was so little, but also I just feel like the acting, like, I love the character, he's super cute, but like, he was another kind of like, sometimes he was just like a little plain.
Dud? Yeah, duddy. He was just kind of like, deadpan.
Like the delivery is like, yep. I don't know, it's just like, it was weird. I'm surprised when you said that.
Well, he had to play like a wholesome character, and I don't know, Kate, maybe that wasn't natural to him.
I guess not, because then later on he goes and does The Good Son, and he's right at home in that freaking movie. Holy hemorrhaging. That would be so scary.
Yeah. But then he dies. He dies right after that. And just like Vada sprinting to the doctor because she can't breathe and this is your thing again.
Yes, this is like she can't understand like the grief. So she just is like, you know, somatizing it. It was very sad.
I was ugly crying. Crying. And then again, this movie's so quick that then we're right at his funeral. Like we just got right there. Oh, and then Shelly screams at Harry, like, stop ignoring your daughter.
Yeah, thank you, Shelly. Get an Oscar nom for that monologue. Because he's such a hemorrhaging.
And then you see, like, Vada in her room, like, oh my god, we've all been that sad, like curled up in a ball on your bed. Oh, the pain.
Oh my god. And then Vada's, like, on the little staircase because, like, I guess there's only one funeral home in this goddamn, like, you know, town, so we'll have it at the same house where the trauma is, and it's great. And I just have notes saying, Vada's crying on the staircase. I'm crying on the couch. We're all crying. That's what I wrote.
I honestly, and then there's the saddest lines when she runs up.
so
Which,
sad.
I mean, like, okay, at our age, we've seen people die close to us and had these, like, moments. And when someone, like, talks to the person in the casket, like, I remember being at funerals like that, where someone, like, is doing that, and it is gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
And she's like, where's his glasses? Which, by the way, is a great point. Like,
yeah! Oh, because we found the body, and I'm pretty sure his glasses were right next to him, because I saw them fall, so somebody pick him up.
The bee stings, they hurt his face. Like, Shelly, get some freaking concealer, yo!
Well, that's a good point. This is where the cortisone comes in, listeners, okay? You know, if you need to kind of fix up a corpse from the bee stings, I recommend cortisone, because it helps me with my mosquito bites.
Oh my god. And so, too much, too much, and then she basically runs out of the house, and then, don't worry, she gets one more slap in the face when Mr. Bixler's fiance pops out.
I literally wrote, I was
Susan!
like, Vada, this is not the time to confess your love, Vada. We can't handle more disappointment, okay? Your little body just cannot take the rejection. You're all alone in the world. This is sad.
I just said, this is too much, Vada. Your period. You lost the love of your life. You lost your best friend. Hot damn.
Everything's wrong. And Grandma's probably singing at Thomas J's funeral right now. God help us. Thank God you're not there. Oh no.
Oh, and then I think at that part, that was when I was like convulsing crying, because and I read all about how there was critiques of this movie where they're like, this is too sad for kids, and I mean, they had some like therapists that were like, kids will not be traumatized by this because it like somewhat ends on a good note, and they ultimately think it's good. And I'm like, I think you should have made it. It's not like you should hide those feelings, but at the same time, this is kind of promoted like it's a kid's fun movie, and it's like really sad.
Definitely not. Yeah, it's very Bridge to Terabithia in that way. Do you remember when we watched that, by the way? Because
that was so
the trauma.
traumatic for us.
Oh my god, that's it's like the same exact way. You're like, wow, what a fun, imaginative kids movie. Life is wonderful. Friends are great. And then you're like, JK, the girl's dead. Everything's wrong. We're all sad. It's a surprise. Everything's wrong. That's this movie. It's the same exact spiel. But after all of that trauma and the trauma, then Vada and Shelly kind of start to bond. And then Vada has a talk with her dad where she finally is like, did I kill mom? And then that's like, I'm assuming that's the first time. Like, it was weird because, again, I'm just assuming Dan Aykroyd is like a horrible dad in the movie.
I mean, he is.
Well, he is. But like, in my head, I'm like, have you just like never talked about the mom to your daughter? Because like, I feel like this would have came up at one point, but here we are.
Here we are.
And then he's, saying like, no, you didn't. I love you. I swear, Vada. I am not a robot. That's how I interpreted that scene. Yep.
But that was good. That was good that like he was a person, and I don't know. And then I thought it was actually sweet closure that they see the mom, Thomas J's mom.
Yes, I liked that.
Who was like, hey, will you come around? Because that's another thing. Like, that's what makes that's so sad about those like moments is like you just want the memories to keep living. So you wouldn't go like visit your best friend's mom's house, but you should. And she's like, are you gonna come around? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna come around. And then she just shares the mood ring.
Oh, and the mood ring is blue. And I don't know what the blue means, but it's great.
Okay, that was such a beautiful, subtle thing that Thomas J's like, your mood ring's always black. And she's like, maybe it's because I'm always around you. And then when she hands it to her and it's so obviously different, whoever decided to make that call is brilliant because it was such a subtle, beautiful thing.
When you first see the mood ring and they have that conversation about the black, Shelly's there and Shelly's like, maybe black means you're happy. Yeah. And you're like, oh, because you love Thomas J, and now it's blue because you're sad, but you're also going through grief because grief is a process. Wow, blue. I don't know what it meant, but it was great.
I don't know, but I was like, I had full on bright red eyes at this point. Oh my god. Like, literally looked like I smoked a giant joint and everyone, like, no one knew what was happening. I was like, I cannot leave this house. I looked too distraught.
Well, smoking a giant joint would have been perfect for the next scene because now we're back in the creative writing class with all the hippies adults. And again, they're all like, oh my god, Vada, let's give big aggressive hugs. And I was like, oh no, hands at your sides, please. Okay. And this is where she reads, it's very very, a 10 things I hate about you moment. She reads her sad poem in front of the class, and it's about Thomas J. And a weeping willow tree. Get out of here. Oh, the beauty. Oh my God, I cried at that too. It just, the waterworks was never ending.
I gotta tell you, when she gets out of that class, and then Judy's like, hey, Vada, and then it's like, do. I was like, no, I'm not ready. We moved on way too quickly. I am still crying.
I'm still crying about the tree, by the way, so I'm just gonna be over here doing that. Don't mind me. Also, don't bring up Richard Nixon in front of me. Thank you so much.
Well, I was like, my girl plays and we're supposed to be okay. I'm sad.
Yeah. Oh my God, I know.
Oh, me,
really
oh my. Funny. So is Julie someone that is like into sad stuff like this, or like, I'm so intrigued why she picked this?
I think Julie has a similar taste to you in a lot of movies. She's very rom-com.
Love it.
So...
Love it.
I guess that's kind of why she likes this movie.
Julie, don't come back for the next 5 to 7 days!
Get out of here! Julie, I hope you're not hemorrhaging right now.
Oh, me too, Julie.
Oh, no.
Me too. And put down the blue eyeshadow, okay? There is something as enough of it.
Oh, no. And don't marry Dan Aykroyd.
No, don't do
Please,
that.
I will not attend the wedding. Just kidding. I would go regardless because I love you so much. But,
that would
make
be
good
fun.
choices.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that went weird, but... Julie, thanks so much for this listener pick. This was good, and, I would never have watched this otherwise, unless I was hanging out with you and you made me, so...
So, Kate, would you recommend people watch My Girl?
I mean, it's cute, and I guess if you need to cry and you need to add a movie to your list that makes you cry, this might be one you want to check out. But, for like funsies, I don't know about that. Ooh, I'm not sure about that.
Totally agree. If you need to cry, and you're like, oh, I need to just let go of this sadness, this will do it. This will open up the waterworks, and you'll be good after this, because you can't not cry.
My girl, my girl.
I think I burped. Is that what you saw?
I saw you paused after my, so I took that chance. Well, Bridge, I have our next movie pick. Now, okay, listen up, y'all, because this is it.
This is a story. Okay.
The beat, I was going Fergalicious. You were Fresh Prince, but I like the mashup.
Ooh.
I can see it. Okay, so we've done a lot of, the past couple weeks, we've been doing a lot of listener picks. We've been really, beating down the list, and I'll be honest, there still is a list, but you know what? I'm kind of, doing my own thing, because just like Thomas J. looking for a mood ring, around a bunch of bees, I'm about to... bring us to a beehive. What? I don't know if that's true. Not sure. That got a little lost in that metaphor. I wanted to change up the genre, and actually I was listening to, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to remember what episode. We've made reference to this particular movie in a couple episodes, and not the movie title, but the concept in the movie. We've referenced a lot. We've made a lot of jokes about it. So I think you will appreciate this pick. So this is actually a very different year. We're going 10 years later after My Girl. This is 2001, girl.
Ooh.
Yes, this is a PG-13 movie, and it is described as a crime thriller, but, I mean, it is crime, but it's not the type of crime that I think most people typically think of.
Okay.
This is a fun movie. This is an iconic movie. This has spawned a couple sequels, and I think it spawned a reboot recently.
Oh.
This is an ensemble cast. We got a lot of famous actors in this movie. In fact, there are about 11 famous actors. So this is the 2001 movie, Ocean's 11.
Hey! Heist.
It's a heist. Yeah, we make jokes about heists, so that's where I thought of that.
This is bringing me back to Black Panther when they poison the lady.
Episode.
Oh,
wow,
that
was literally last week. That's really sad. I couldn't remember that, but it's fine.
My Girl erased your memory.
Yep.
Wow, this is a big difference from my girl. You're like, I am not crying no more. George Clooney, Brad Pitt, give it to me.
And Matt Damon, we love to see him. We love to see him.
Wow. Well, My Girl to Ocean's 11, folks. Only you'll get that here. Only here.
Yeah, totally.
Because there are no rules.
No rules. We make things up. Well, and Bridge, I just want to say, if we were hiking in the woods and there was a huge, low-hanging beehive with bees near us, I would keep walking, I think. And I would aggressively pull you away as we walked because, no.
I could tell your brain was like, I am not thinking of anything.
Well, because in my brain, I'm like, is Bridget allergic to bees? Am I allergic to bees? No one really knows until you're stung by a bee, and that's just not a chance I want to take. So we're just going to avoid the beehive, all right? Avoid the beehive.
You know what? And Kate,
Bridge,
if you decide to take a creative writing class, and you get the guts to go up there and share your ode to ice cream poem, okay? I am in that back giving you a woo! Good poem!
It'd be you and the adults later, like, yeah, good team. Oh my god. Wow, thanks, Bridge.
And thanks to Julie. You're the best.
Yes. Woo! We love you, Jewel. I love you, Julie. And listeners, if you also love little children writing about ice cream and avoiding dangers like beehives, and if you also love Julie, which you should, because she's a saint. She's a nice lady.
Oh, wow.
You should write us a review.
Hey!
We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts, along with some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. If you scroll down on the main page, there is a form you can fill out to request a movie. And if you would like to be like Julie, who requested My Girl, you can do that. And if you'd like to be a future person, maybe you really like those Ocean 11 movies and there's like a lot of them, put it on there because we about to watch the first one next week. So that'll be good. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They can buy us coffee. And if you're going to cry as much as this movie, you're going to need some coffee because once it's done, you're going to just want to go to sleep, turn off the lights, and just check out. But you can't because you have a life to lead. So you need some coffee. So buy us some. Buy us some coffee.
Yes. What she said. Absolutely. So, listeners, check all that out and we hope to hear from you.
Love it.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week for Ocean's 11.
Heist.
Get ready for the heist. It's going to be a heist, boys. Heist. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.